Welcome to Understand the Math. In this question, we're given a matrix A and a vector B, and we're told that our transformation is defined by T of x is equal to A times x. And what we're asked to determine is if B is in the range of T. I think the hardest part of this problem is trying to figure out what does that really mean. B is in the range of T if AX is equal to B has a solution. So that's what we have to determine, if A times X is equal to B has a solution. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take matrix A, we're going to augment it with B, and we're going to put it in echelon form. The reason for that is when we want to determine what type of solution we have to put our augmented matrix in echelon form. We don't have to put it in reduced echelon form. And then once we have our augmented matrix in echelon form, we're just going to be able to see then if a solution exists. So we're going to start by creating our augmented matrix. Our A is 1, 3, 1, minus 3, minus 5, 7. And we're going to augment that with 3, 1, 0. Let's go ahead and let's circle our pivot. And we're going to start by getting zeros below that pivot. The row operations that we're going to use is we're going to take row 2 and we're going to replace it with row 2 minus 3, row 1. And then we're going to take row 3 and we're going to replace it with row 3 minus row 1. Let's see what this gives us. Our first row stays the same. And then our second row, we're going to get a 0. We're going to pick up a 9 minus 5, which is going to give us a 4. And then we're going to have a minus 9 plus 1, which is going to give us a minus 8. And then in our third row, we're going to have a 0. We have a positive 3 plus 7 gives us a 10. And then we have a minus 3 plus 0 gives us a minus 3. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to circle our next pivot. Notice that this would be a lot easier if this pivot were equal to 1. So we're going to do a scaling and we're going to take row 2 and replace it with row 2 divided by 4. And that'll make things a lot easier. Our first row stays the same. And then our second row, we're going to divide each term by 4. So we have 0, 1, minus 2. And then our third row stays the same. We'll circle our pivot. And now what we need to do is we need to get a 0 where that 10 is. The row operation that we're going to use is we're going to take row 3 and we're going to replace it with row 3 minus 10 times row 2. Let's see what we get. Our first two rows are going to stay the same. And now our third row is going to change. We're going to pick up a 0, and then we're going to have a minus 2 times a minus 10, which is a 20, minus 3 gives us a 17. Let's now take a look at this row right down here. In this row, what we're going to have, if we translate it back into algebra, is we're going to get a 0x1 plus 0x2 is equal to 17. And that's going to give us 0 is equal to 17, and that can't happen. So that tells us that for this problem, we have no solution. And because we have no solution, we can conclude that B is not in the range of T.
If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Keep believing in yourself and have a great rest of your day.